save the children with an important mission, an important goal. We're already handing it over to emeraldaly, Prince of Persia, Epilogue any percent. This is gonna be wild, I guess. We got some donos. While you introduce yourself, I'll look up what we got. Emeraldaly, take it away.
Hi everybody, my name's Emeraldaly. This will be Prince of Persia Epilogue any percent. This is the DLC episode to the 2008 Prince of Persia game, the cel-shaded one, known in some circles, though I would quite disagree, as the quote-unquote bad one. Yeah, you can't die. Terrible video game, 2 out of 10. But we did have an incentive for the skin manager, if I could know which one that, because I have to have this set before the run starts.
Alright, we got, use the Sands of Time costume for the prince. Please. Voted for with $2. And we got nothing on Elika/Farah, so that's your choice.
Alright.
Yeah, give us something good. Wonderful.
Then. It's funny, I played this game long before I ever played Sands of Time, and he doesn't look like the Sands of Time skin for this game until pretty late into that game, so it was kind of a, oh, finally moment when I did. Anyway, this DLC episode is exclusive to the PlayStation, well, the console versions. I'm playing on PlayStation 3, but the console versions of the game. Hi, GMP. Nice to see you here. And we have some community members working like heck to emulate it for our PC players. Time will start at first movement, so actually I can just go ahead and load the save file. I don't have to worry about a timer there. And thankfully we are able to just park a save file at the beginning of this after the introductory cutscene, because the introductory cutscene is almost 2 minutes long. So grinding out runs of this would be very painful if you had to sit through that every time. Like I say, time starts at first movement, so I can set the camera the way I like. I'll count you in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright. At the beginning of the epilogue, we don't have Elika's help. It's for reasons that make sense in context, but really aren't worth getting into. This initial alleyway is just very simple parkouring. Certainly would be simple if you'd played the base game, which obviously anyone who would be playing this has certainly played the base game.
Where are you going?
She's mad at us because we brought her back to life. Again, it makes sense in context. There's actually a ton of little movement tricks you can do in this initial alleyway, and none of them matter. You will always, well, I shouldn't say always, but you will usually wind up on the same cycle at the end of this alleyway, no matter what, with the parkouring you have to do afterwards. And if you get here really, really extra super fast, it just means you have to wait a little bit longer afterwards. So it's kind of a 6 of one, half a dozen of the other sort of thing. This is Elika's father, the Morning King. He is covered in black ooze. It makes sense in context.
I have the feeling we're going to hear that a couple more times, right?
Where's the... no, this is pretty much it. First thing we have to do is revive Elika after her father cold-cocked her. Not nice, and I've rolled too far.
Ooh, ouch. That looks like it hurt.
Alright, I might not be on the cycle I want to be after this, because that was not a good fight. But what you saw there was the charge move, which is unique to the Epilogue DLC. It's not in the Prince of Persia 2008 base game, and whenever I do play the base game, I find myself wanting it, because it's so helpful in fights. Did the charge move, and then a lengthy unblockable combo to whittle down the king's health. We didn't even do all of it in that fight. We'll fight him 4 times. The second time we'll do 1 full combo. The third time we'll do 1.5. Okay, this is still the cycle I want, so this is good. And the 4th fight's a little different. Yeah, as long as you start on the correct cycle, you can basically just go pedal to the metal here. You don't have to worry about waiting in between. I say in before dead. You know, of course, dead in air quotes for this game, since you can't actually die.
Let's go.
There is a Strat coming up that I've only recently introduced to the run, and it makes this beginning area, the 2 blob cycle is the one we want here, so this is good. It makes this opening area very reset heavy, at least until I, get better at it. It's something I observed Smathlax, the world record holder for the base game run of this, doing, and I realized it works in the epilogue just as well. We do have to wait here. There's no getting past this. It looks like you can just barely go above those 2 blobs, but you can't. If you try, you will, quote-unquote, die. Oh, that was close. So, the best way to turn a good run of this into... Oh, God, this is close. Alright, into a great run is by ring run shorting, and I'm going to talk about that more in a second because we're soldier skipping. There we go. There's 3 fights here against Armin soldiers. That's what these smoke pillars are. You do not actually have to do any of them. It is very easy to mess up skipping off of those platforms ahead of time. That right there is a strat I like to call wall is lava. We never stay on the wall for even a moment more than we have to. Doesn't save a whole lot of time, but it does save about a second over doing the full wall runs. Okay, we skipped all the soldiers. Very cool. It would not have been difficult at all to mess that up. So we have a drop glitch here. Oh, let's go, baby. Oh, and I messed it up. Cool. I get to try it again. Oh, almost double first try. And, of course, I'm not going to get it now. And I'll give this a couple more tries, and if I have to, I'll go around the long way. Dang it. I'm trying to get this wall run on the wall behind here. There we go. Yeah, what I didn't do the last time was start the grip fall on this wall here. Because I didn't do that, it made me just jump away from it like normal instead of jumping directly behind me. But at least we got to show how the skip actually works. Another... I hesitate even to call it a skip, but a routing optimization here. You're expected to go forward into the poison air, but you can actually just jump between these 2 walls and scale the distance that way.
There's a doorway there.
There's lots of little unintended pieces of platforming you can do to just cut corners, get places you are supposed to be, but not as quickly as you get there. Alright, start a grip fall here, saves just a little bit before going through that tentacle. I was mentioning shorting ring runs. If you can double jump after a ring run, but not if you have to double jump after a ring run, the fastest way to get past that ring is to just jump immediately once you're past it instead of completing the wall run. And my favorite thing about doing that is the game explicitly tells you not to. Alright, big skip here. Not bad. There are times that I don't get that until, like, years have passed. This is an area you're supposed to be, but you're not supposed to get there nearly that fast. You're supposed to do a lot of parkouring around this room. So new fight strat against this guy, new to me at least. You just spam your sword at him, he'll never parry you. Even if he does that. You just get a little closer, spam sword again, and he's at the edge. I had been doing, like, Elika combos against him to push him towards the edge, but he actually never parries you. Ever. So you can just spam sword. And we can charge. And the QTE. Push this guy off the edge, and that's the first fight. First fight against this enemy, anyway. You can see right there the area we're supposed to go through to reach this big disc in the middle of the room for the fight arena. We'll have 4 fights
But he
against
must
that
still
enemy
be
as well. The
weak.
game's
Using
trophies refer
forms
to him as
he's
the
familiar
Shapeshifter.
with. Once he can create
This one is by far the
those
easiest
weren't
because
corrupted?
to defeat the warrior form, that's the big guy, you have to push him off the edge, and this disc has just edges everywhere. The arena is a little bit more restrictive. What just happened? Weird.
Elika?
The arena is a little bit more restrictive in the later fights. I know what happened. I jumped too soon before the edge of the disc. Just usually doesn't happen. Anyway. We're about to showcase the bread and butter glitch this game has called ledge warping. Go here, we set a hanging position. Like, say, this might have an awkward camera angle. Go back here, jump forward, hang off so that one of our hands is... That's not the way you do it. Okay, let's try this again. Set a hang. Come back here. Okay, Elika needs to not be there. All right, first try. Come here, set a hang. Go to the back here. Jump forward, hang off so that one of your hands is hanging on nothing and you're doing an airwalk. First try, yay, poggers. We do that several times throughout the run. That is by far the easiest one, so okay. Lets you skip a lot of cycle-based nonsense with blobs. Can't skip the cycle-based nonsense with these blobs. Just gotta wait them out. Yeah, and Elika can't push you into a blob, but her being there can make it so you can't get away from one. She exists physically in the world, which is a cool idea, but in practice, it makes a lot of things harder than they have to be. Well, not harder, but more... excuse me. More intricate, I suppose. There is another Armin soldier down here. We just kill him. Alright, so we'll do another ledge warp here that has a very different effect. This is our hang right here. We need to be as far to the left as we can get. Come back over here. The ordinary way through this would be to just go straight down there. Now we need to get onto a ledge we can jump off of and hang like we did a moment ago. This one here. I do a very slow setup here. You can totally eyeball this setup. I've just never been comfortable doing it. And that's wrong. Okay. Yeah, my setup is to get all the way to the back here, swap places with Elika, take one step forward, then jump off. And I think, yeah, I jumped off the wrong side. This is what happens when you don't practice this game. Alright, we'll get it this time. There we go. Just take a quick look to make sure we're not going to hit any blobs on our way down. And we are grip falling out of bounds. And I might not have gone too far enough right here. I might still have messed this up. In fact, I'm pretty sure I did. Let's see. Yep. Okay, we get to do it again. Yay. It's funny, when I first started running this game and I was, very bad, not very competitive, I never had problems with this. And then when I, got world record, I started missing this 10 times in a row sometimes. At least you don't have to set the hang again. That's nice. Now that time I think I went too far right, so fingers and toes crossed. Oh boy. This is still not the worst I've ever done at this skip in a marathon.
Excuse me?
Believe it or not, there was one run I did where I lost 6 minutes to this. And I don't think we're that bad just yet. Okay, that should be good. Don't wanna write a check my prince can't pay. This is looking good. Yay, first try, poggers. Okay, there's several cycles you can go on in this room. This should be fine. In before dead.
Together.
Oh, yep, dead. I'll just wait a little bit longer. Yeah, if blobs are in front of you when you're wall running, you can't run into them. Oh, I'm dead again. No, I'm not. Okay, good. That was really close, though. Yeah, you can't run into them, but you can be so close that they'll eat you up when they turn around at the end of their cycle. Alright, I'd like to say all the hard stuff is done, but there is 2 more really hard skips. I honestly think this run is harder than people give it credit for. The old world record, easy for me to say, by Robbie, aka Epic Dude Guy, was actually set in a marathon. And in that run, he referred to this as a meme run, which
We'll have to get through that gate.
maybe I don't know what that means in this context.
Let's see what this does.
I think this run is pretty freaking cool. So we head up here, double jump over to this thing, ring run, we'll have a cutscene. And if I am on an absolutely pogger's
Armin's trying
pace,
to cut
this
us off.
cutscene would trigger sub 11
It's not
minutes.
lit.
I know I'm not anywhere
Maybe
close to
there's
that,
some sort of
please don't
temple?
tell me.
Somewhere
It's not
we
lit,
can
fam.
activate the plate?
No.
Or there's another way out of here.
There is nowhere to go. Even if we escape,
I'll
here,
just blame
there's nowhere
Farah.
to run.
I can think of 100 places.
And Armin will follow us to all of them. Armin, his power
There's
is
various
gone.
little downtimes like this
Getting
throughout the run,
closer.
unskippable
Close is good
cutscenes.
enough.
None of them are more
This
than
isn't
about a
going to
minute
end like
long,
this.
so if it were an event with, you know, wink wink, nudge nudge, lots of donations, wonder what event I could be talking about, this would be the point where somebody
There's
would read
always
them.
another way out.
I hear you. Yeah,
And I do love
no
how
problem.
the prince... Sorry?
No donations, but we can plug the awesome incentive you have going for Icy, which is either Chinese, English, or Japanese narration. Which one is your favorite?
Well, I've
Oh.
really only ever played through the game with English. But the English voice actor is really bad, so... Chinese is the original. The game was developed in China, and I played it with it a little. I don't speak Chinese, so I don't understand the words he's saying, but the guy has a lot more emotion in his voice. Frankly, I expected Japanese to win. I have not used Japanese
So
at all.
that would be a new experience. All right. If you fancy, get your donations in, everyone.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter the language for that game, hence why it's such a perfect donation incentive. There's no, like, audio
Yeah.
cues tied to language or
Okay.
anything like that. Alright, really huge skip coming up here. If this skip goes wrong, I soft lock the game and lose 2.5 minutes. So let's not do that. And in a PB attempt, missing this skip would, of course, just end the attempt. Because if I do get it wrong, I have to load a save file, and you can't do that in a real run. Alright, that's step 1. Not bad, not bad. Alright. So that power plate, you're not expected to hit that power plate until you turn 3 levers in this room. But hitting it out of sequence, the game assumes you turn the 3 levers since it doesn't think you can reach that power plate without doing it, so it just despawns all the U's at the bottom of the room.
This for us, Armin? If he can't be stopped, Elika, why is he trying to stop us?
Yeah, I became a lot more consistent with that skip when I started doing a setup for the first part that's like undermashed. It's like half a second slower, maybe, than the setup I had been doing, and it made me a heck of a lot more consistent, so it's totally worth it. Second fight against this guy, you can see how this arena is a little harder than the first one. There's 4 drop zones. You have to maneuver him toward one of them, rather than just any edge of the arena like in the first fight.
Your turn!
I'm getting really good RNG with the charge rolls. And he's gone.
That's it.
Right, that is
Take
not
whatever form you want.
bad.
You're still finished.
There is one more really
you
hard
see?
skip.
trying
Thankfully
to
for that
stop
one,
us,
there
he's
is
scared
actually a
of something.
backup, though.
He's
So
scared
if
of
I
you.
muck it up repeatedly, I'll just do the backup,
not what our
which
men
is a lot
haven't the
easier.
power to
It's a
stop
lot
him.
slower, too, but
Only
it's a lot
Ormaz can
easier.
do that.
Alright. And sometimes during this grip fall, I just randomly die. Like, there. He just falls and dies. I don't know why it happens sometimes, and I'm glad it didn't that time. We're just heading up this, chute, this
Keep
spire.
doing that.
A little bit of sneaky platforming optimization here. You don't have to crawl up that fissure. You can just double jump away from it. Prince's little scamper move gets you up. And the way this game works, if you ever do quote-unquote die, Elika revives you and takes you back to your last flat ground, which in the case of lengthy parkouring sequences like this one, can be quite a ways away, so
Elika?
dying here would be quite painful.
Thanks.
Imagine saying a sentence like that out of context. Just gotta make sure we don't get through these blobs. Technically, this poison air can kill us, but we would have to, like, AFK for 5 minutes for it to be a threat at all. And I think this soldier can also be skipped, but I've never even tried it, so we're just gonna kill him.
Let's go.
Those shorting ring runs here? You know, doing that once doesn't save a whole ton of time. Doing it for every ring you can in the game, it's probably 10-15 seconds. So, like I said, it's how you turn a good run into a great run. One of the ways, at least. What, do you disagree, GMP? I forget, have you even played this? Well, not Epilogue, of course, but 2K8. Short that ring run, double jump away. There's a, oh, that stings, because that takes us way the hell back here. I was about to say there's a very narrow hitbox for that guy, but not as narrow as I needed it to be. So that's unfortunate. That's a Sands of Time thing. And a Two Thrones thing. You have to get really close to both the blob and the ooze to the left of it. This soldier might spawn since I died there. Hopefully not.
Just keep coming.
Yeah, okay, good, it didn't. Yeah, defeating all of the armament soldiers before they spawn is probably the hardest trophy/achievement this run has. You know, I say run, but this DLC has.
How big is this place?
Yeah, it's a Two Thrones thing, too, with Kylina
Let's see
telling
what
the story
those
of Two
cranks do.
Thrones. Ideally, we will not see what those cranks do. So we set a hang there. This is really hard. Or at least really picky. We're going to try to get a ledge warp airwalk off of this beam. Ah, that's very close. Set a hang. Every time I think I'm consistent at this, I do the setup that I thought was consistent, and it doesn't work. So, there we go. It's not over yet, though. This is just the quote-unquote hard part. I can still mess this up. Alrighty, there we go. That wasn't too bad.
One of the bars has moved. Let's use the plate and see if we can move
Right,
the
and
other
because
bar.
this tower is in this position, we can just run across it to get to these vines over here. Ordinarily, when you reach that, it's also why this camera view is obstructed. Ordinarily, when you reach that first ring, that tower would not be in that position. So the move I just did would not be possible. From this point, this is the ordinary way of reaching this next ring.
Let's go.
And
That's moved the second one.
way to get from 2 to 3, this is a skip anybody can do. Just drop off, mash double jump, and here you are. They just put these rings too close together. There's ring number 3.
That's it.
Now, a really
We can
good
go
run
on.
would pull the third
That's
ring
what
sub
I'm
20 minutes.
imagining.
Again, please don't tell me. I don't want to know. Alrighty. Alright, you can't jump all the way down from this height. You have to grip fall a little, but you can jump from like there and live. So you don't have to grip fall all the way down. Second fight with the Morning King.
He can seek her, but he's not going to get her.
It is you he seeks. State your wish.
I wish you and Armin would go swallow yourselves.
Vor. Roll to the right.
Now, Elika! Finish this!
Perfect fight. All right. And you noticed me roll to the right before the start of the fight? By the way, that was the full version of the combo we did in the first fight. If I had not rolled to the right, I still would have killed him in one combo, but he would have been pinned against the wall at the end of it, and we would have had to do the edge event, even though he was already out of HP, and the edge event is about a 10-second time on this.
Let's get out of here.
Why don't you take what he has to offer?
Is that what you think of me? That I could do that? Let's see if you were right about the path forward.
So we've seen the purple power plate that is unique to the DLC. I didn't really mention it, but it is a plot hole. It creates... It gives Elika the power to recreate ruins.
We
We've
must use the
seen the red power plate that exists in the base game.
And I was going to say we should just hold
now
hands and
we will
hope.
see the green one. The blue one features very briefly in the absolute last parkouring sequence. Praise or Mazd, the yellow power plate is not in the epilogue. I always hated that one. If you're not familiar with it, it's similar to the purple and red ones we've seen so far that just throw you through the air from one spot to the next. But it's like it's much longer, slower, and it adds a visual distortion effect to the screen that even though I've played the base game a number of times, I still frequently mess up trying to avoid the things you have to avoid in midair when you use the yellow plate. So I'm very happy it's not in the epilogue. The green one's a little different. It's just running. And I've long thought it would be really cool to see what this area looks like. And maybe this is something they can do when they emulate the game. I don't know. What this area looks like when it's obvious which way is up and which way is down. And clearly that's not what it's meant to... It's not built to look like anything in particular when you know which way is up and which way is down. It's meant to be this obstacle course you have to run through. But I still think it would just be interesting to see. Ooh, almost hit that one. Yeah, losing your run to the green plates is humiliating. And it has happened. And you can actually short that ring run. I didn't, but whatever.
Get back!
This is not a charge roll. The warrior will always charge at you. Did I even mention charge rolls? That's what I call it when it's, you know, RNG, a roll of the dice. whether you can charge the enemy or the enemy will charge you. There are a few of them that are scripted, that the enemy will always charge you, or you will always have the chance to charge the enemy. Some of them are, or most of them actually, I would say, are charge rolls where it can go either way. And I don't think we've lost any charge rolls in this run. I think this one up here with the hunter form is a charge roll. The first one with the warrior is not. That one's scripted. Okay, well, if that one is, we lost it. But losing a charge roll to the hunter is not a big deal. It's maybe 2 seconds slower than just charging him.
Together,
Knock him out of
doesn't matter what
here.
you try, Armin. You're not going to stop us. First you offer me gold, then you try to kill me. Those are sort of mixed messages.
Right, now we have another cutscene. Greetings from Germany.
Tomb. I hope that's not an omen.
It must be the mausoleum of Achaemenes, king of the Ura when the city fell. He returned liberated from Ahriman.
And they buried him underground? Not much
This
of a
room
reward.
has what passes for
Used to be
puzzles
buried
in the Epilogue
He felt
DLC.
shame for allowing
I'm
the city
very
to fall.
happy they're quite
He was laid
brainless.
to rest in secret.
The base game has some that are a little on the complicated side. I would
We should
say
hope
they're
it
no
is
trouble
an
for runners, but the runners don't
Armin
even
can't
see
be
them.
But
They're
Princess,
all
if
skipped.
I die in the cause, cremate me. These places give me the creeps.
I guess for the no major glitches run, they would be no problem. And this is another area with, I don't know, would you call it a, it's not really a plot hole, it's just kind of violates a tenet of good game design. You want the game world to feel like it doesn't exist solely for the player. This feels like it exists solely for the player. There's no reason the Aura people would have this giant room where turning levers on one side of it moves wall sections with rings on them on the other side. It's not a big deal. Of course, it doesn't ruin the experience, but it definitely sticks out a little. Yeah, and the lore behind the power plates is it's the magic that Elika's people, the Ura, used ages ago to rule the land, so it doesn't make sense that they would have had a power ages ago to restore ruins. And I'd like to say the sections of these levers I'm grabbing are, you know, routed for efficiency. They're not. I'm just grabbing whatever. Sometimes it looks that way, though.
Let's see what this does.
Like, oh, I'm super close to the power plate. Obviously, that was intentional. I wish I was that good at video games. Okay. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but that's alright. There we go.
Give me a hand here.
And we're just turning more levers to move more wall sections. This is an area that, you know, it predates my time running the game, but I'm told that there has been substantial attempts to try to skip all this because it's pretty tedious and boring and slow, but no success. Oh, what am I? What? Are you kidding me? My controller betrayed me. That should put a smile on GMP's face. Maybe a smirk. Alright, this is the last one. There is something that can happen at the end here that I have never understood, but I have definitely lost runs to it, where you can just, for no reason, be too low to grab one of the rings.
Thanks.
GMP's not smiling at my misfortune, of course. He's just a mouse and keyboard cultist.
Keep doing that!
Alright, third fight with the Morning King coming up. And then a really crazy looking, but actually quite easy skip.
All your life you knew what would happen when Oromon was free.
This is not a charge rule. He will always charge at us. Again, we want to roll to the right, same reason as before.
Finish this!
Why didn't that kill him? That's not cool.
I need you!
That happened in practice earlier too. He should die in 2 combos there. I don't know what went wrong there, but whatever.
You always
It's
talk of
not
power,
a
and
big
you
time
always
loss.
run away. We are getting out of here. Let's get out of here before he comes back.
Alright. We're going to do another ledge warp airwalk. The setup for this one's really simple. Just want your left hand in that dark space on the beam. Jump forward. Boosh. And I got to count audio cues.
We're getting close. We are almost through this place.
Elika? Another of those doors.
Awesome.
Another
I've
of
had
those.
people join my stream during that skip and they think the stream is like frozen or something. Can't really blame them. Alright. And since I know we're not on, like, world record pace or something, I'll show a funny, non-beneficial glitch that happens after this fight. If you jump out of this room too soon after the fight,
Close. Once we get out of here.
that happens for some reason. The way to avoid it is to wait to jump out of the room until the first line of subtitles appear. I do not want her to grab my hand or do that. I'm gonna wait another blob cycle. Okay. Yeah, that happened to me in my first. I'm gonna wait here. I'm scared. That happened to me in my first couple of full-on runs of doing this, and I was like, "What the heck?" And then that was one of many things that Robbie, Epic Dude Guy, helped me with.
Hold on
He
tight.
was definitely very helpful in learning this run. He's a good guy. Small skip here that I routinely mess up. Let's see how it goes this time. That's not usually the way it goes wrong. That's usually the way it goes wrong. Try it one more time. There we go. Woo, went right through those tentacles.
Good thing they didn't get to grab you, because I think we've seen enough to know where that would be going.
Yeah, let's not
that's
go
not-
there. Now, I used to grip fall down here the whole way, but since the cutscene starts with you landing, and it's a cutscene, you can just jump the whole way.
It is a nice speed game, it looks like. All the platforming, all the motion. And some nice
Yeah, and there's
cinematic
tons of cool
combos to
tricks in
finish
it,
off
too.
the big baddie.
Go! Get out of here!
But now he's got us alone, it seems.
So we don't have Elika's help for this portion of the fight, but we can still throw the Morning King. If you don't get that right first try, more's the pity, because the king will parry basically every sword hit you do. So if you don't have him right against the edge first try, you're in a bad shape. From this point on, we do have Elika's help.
Good job.
And we just hop over, back off, charge him, and do a throw combo. This gets him down to the bottom level of this ballroom. And if we had been letting Elika talk during this time, we would hear her saying that he's immune to all damage at this point, which he is, with one exception. Couple throw combos here.
He's not weak enough.
So the one way he can be damaged, not magic, not swords, spikes on a big chair? I've read that this is an homage to the original Prince of Persia game, which, I mean, I guess, but kinda not really. Yeah, massive frame rate poop during this cutscene.
It's just emotional slow-mo, I'd guess.
Yeah. Alright, that is the last combat of
Let's
the
see where
game.
this goes.
There's still a little bit more parkouring. There's such a tiny little skip coming up here. You would not recognize it as a skip unless you run this game. Okay, that
You
happened.
must be careful.
Come on, Prince. Yeah, I sometimes say that there are three kinds of skips. Skips you recognize, skips anybody can recognize. Skips you recognize if you've played the game, and skips you would only recognize if you've speedrun the game yourself. This game has all three. And even that, I think, is pretty cool.
What
It's coming up
even
right
is
here.
gravity, right?
Did you see it? No, you didn't. But it saves about 2 seconds. This cutscene, it's about 3 minutes until time, just FYI.
Don't play fair, do they?
And this final sequence is similar to how the base game ends. There's the ooze coming up from the ground and you taking refuge by these discs of light. It doesn't have that incredibly badass moment where the ooze forms a dragon and like swallows you. That is so cool, and that happens in the base game.
We're almost out!
And there's a stealthy time save here. It's something that's definitely an intended mechanic, but the game never tells you about it. Is when you're climbing on vines, if you press the jump button, easy for me to say, you climb like 10 times faster. Now, you do have to be a little bit careful with it. If you just hit the jump button, you can crawl off vines when you don't want to, or jump away from them when you don't want to. But like right here, see how fast I moved up to that? That's because I was hitting the jump button, which is the same button you hit to scamper on the wall, so like I say, you gotta be a little careful with it. But as long as you know what you're doing, it's a simple, free time save. As I mentioned earlier, the blue power plate coming into play. This is the absolute last parkouring. It's by far the longest. It's basically the quote-unquote final boss of this game. Trust me, my first playthrough, I died in this parkouring a number of times. I have also lost a run on world record pace right there. So that was really painful when that happened. Alright, time is very soon. It's when I land on the balcony. And... time.
I think we're clear.
I couldn't heal him. Ahriman was too strong.
Just because...
Alright. I always let the credits play on my own channel, but I guess we gotta keep things moving. Do I have time to show off one funny thing? Or
Yeah.
no?
How long will it take? A minute? 2? Go for it. Yeah, it's all right.
2-3 minutes? Okay. Ace Mathlex.
So that was
See you
amazing.
there.
And thank you for that moving showcase.
Thank you.
Yeah, we got a
What was
we
the
got a
final time?
43:28 real time.
Not bad. Not bad at all. I mean, my PB's 38:24, so certainly wasn't a record pace, but for a marathon, I'll take it. For a cold marathon, I haven't played this game in
Okay,
weeks.
if a D-Rust looks that fluid and amazing, well, everybody head on over and watch the VOD on, I guess, speedruns.com, speedrun.com, whatever.
Yeah, and actually my 38:24
No,
world
come
record,
on.
that was
The
a D-Rust
D-Rust
run
world
too.
record is real, this one.
It was, yeah.
Take us somewhere.
I'm basically gonna quote-unquote retire from this game if I can get a 37, and it should
Alright,
happen.
what are we seeing now?
Alright, I mentioned this during the run that if I messed up this skip, it would softlock the game. Let's see what that looks like. I always like to show this off at marathons, and I'm getting close to the point where I can do like a full-on glitch exhibition. I might offer that
Nice.
with marathon runs sometime in the future. It's not quite ready yet. Yeah, I figure I want at least 5 things for it, and I have 4, so I'm almost there. Okay, so the reason this softlocks the game if you miss it is these blue walls go away after a while. So if you get up here and if you miss the jump, or if you don't jump at all, oh no, we're falling to our death, but Elika will save us, we're back on our last safe place. But it's not there, so we're falling to our death, but Elika will save us, we're back on our safe ground. Oh no, but it's not there, we're falling to our death. And there's just, there's no way out of this. It's a softlock. There's no way out of it from within the game. You have to just...
Except if your entire fulfillment lies in her saving your ass time and time again.
It's just that she thinks this is your last safe ground because you did stand here on, level terrain, but it's not there anymore. First time this happened to me when I was practicing the skip, it was just a total moment of, what in the... Oh,
All right, then we'll head on over to Intermission, get you set up for Icy.
Alrighty.
What did you say?
Yeah.
Katana Zero versus Stanley Parable?
Well, it's definitely not as complicated as Katana Zero, but, yeah, I guess that works. I never really gave a game comparison for the, hack and slashy part. I just say hack and slasher that's equally parts Stanley Parable.
Alright, that was one amazing run in the most literal sense of the word, and a little bit of jumping. We got icy, it looks dashy, and as far as I can see it, we do not have any donation incentives for the language of the game. So if you want to snipe that, go ahead, make our days, or ruin emeraldaly's. And yeah, I'll just get back to you in a sec with a little blurb about Save the Children. I hope you're enjoying the day or night or whatever time of day it is so far. Thanks for sticking with us on NASA Marathon 2020 Saving the Children. Alright, a little blurb about the current situation with the coronavirus and how Save the Children wants to provide for kids in these hard times. When the worst happens, children are always among the most vulnerable and often suffer most. Save the Children responds to natural disasters, conflicts, and other humanitarian emergencies across the globe, including responding to the COVID-19 pandemic with global health, education, and protection programs that address the unique needs of children in crisis. Save the Children has launched a global appeal to help support children and families affected by the coronavirus. They are supporting health workers with personal protective equipment, distributing hygiene supplies and health information on how to stay safe and prevent the spread of infection. They are also using their decades of experience with kids in crisis to give parents guidance and tools to reassure and support their children. And the amazing thing is, with more than $2,500, we got set up for an amazing goal. I was looking forward that we could hit that an emergency clinic could be stocked for over 4 months with just $2,000, and that provides essential items like IV fluids and infection control supplies, which are more needed than ever in these times. Thanks everyone for chipping in with a little bigger or whatever donation. Every dollar counts, and yeah, thanks so far. We'll be right back with you in just a bit with emeraldaly on Icy.